Welcome to another Cleverdix podcast. In this podcast, we're talking to Milton. Milton is a friend of Duncan's from South Africa. They've known each other for quite some while and have done some crazy swims together. Milton's real superpower, though, is organising swims around the world. In this podcast, you'll listen to how he organised swims in the jungles of South America, up in Alaska, and even an amazing swim at the base camp at the bottom of Everest. I think you really enjoy this one. He was a really great person to speak to. Cheers.
Cleverdix is New Zealand's largest swim-focused podcast, and our team at Swimscapes is proud to be their official partner with all things swimming. Swimscapes offers boat piloting and safety for solo marathon swims, as well as various packages including marathon relay swims, swim camps, and swim adventure holidays. Swimscapes is also a facilitator of the Auckland Triple Crown, coming soon. Proudly brought to you by Swimscape.
So welcome to another Cleverdix podcast. In this podcast, we're talking to Milton. Welcome, Milton.
Hi.
Good. So Milton's a swimmer that swum a lot with Duncan and has done some pretty amazing intercontinental swims. We often start off with just giving you a bit of an opportunity to tell us a little bit about your swim story, and then we can get into some details in a little bit further. What's your swim story, Milton?
I started swimming about 27 years ago. I lost my father and I needed some peace of mind, and the only thing I could get was really get into the water and just go up and down, and that was great. And I started swimming with once I had done that, sort of like there was a coach on the deck, and they invited me to the swim squad. And from there, I started swimming sort of well. And then we went to. I met some different guys in the group, and we broke away. And we've sort of those guys have remained friends with us for many years. And we started swimming overseas. My first swim was I was in London, and I was on the tube going to the Dome. And I saw a guy wearing a T-shirt that said, "I swim Alcatraz." So I went up to him and I asked him if there was a swim, and he said yes. And I came back and I found out there was a swim in Alcatraz. And I went to my coach and I said to him, "Can you coach me?" So he said yes. And that was my first international swim. So that Alcatraz was a phenomenal swim because there was 900 swimmers. It was, I came 25th overall, and I came 4th in my age group. So that's the start of my swimming career.
That's impressive. Wow.
So your age group is 100 to 105, Milt?
Yeah.
What's your age group?
Yeah. Absolutely. When you get a black cap, you must realize there's nothing after that.
So, Milt, your original sort of exercise background was karate, right?
Yes.
And
I did that for many years.
Yeah. In fact, I'm sure you still wear those little black Chinese slippers around because you used to wear them to swim training, right?
Yes, I still do.
Okay. Yeah. They cost like 50 cents and they last forever, right? They're brilliant. Yeah. Okay, cool. So when I met you, I was going through a similar journey, right? I had just stopped running, and I was also just looking for something to try and keep fit. And I met you guys at Ellis Park swimming pool. And for the listeners, Ellis Park is probably right now in one of the dodgiest suburbs in the world. You know, it's downtown Joburg, not quite as cool as what it used to be back in the day, but I reckon I still rate that as one of the best pools in the world, right? It's an awesome swimming pool.
50 meters.
Is it still going?
No. They can't afford chlorine. No, they can't afford chlorine.
Are you kidding me? Seriously?
That's crazy.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So where do you swim now, Milton?
We swim during the winter season indoors, And then comes to summer, we swim at Cradle Moon. There's a couple of dams around Joburg that we swim also. So it's just nice to get to. Open water swimming is just really, it's brilliant to be in the outside and swimming outside.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Luckily, we don't have anything with crocodiles in there.
No. We got those in Cape Town.
Oh, okay.
So that Cradle Moon pool doesn't have any crocodiles, but it does have a hippo, right?
Got two. Yeah.
It's got two hippos.
Yeah.
Other than yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Milt, you've done a couple of Robben Island swims as well. I think that was some of your first ventures into the ocean was in Cape Town with Ram Barkai and the KD's Robben Island swim, yeah? Can you still remember? Can you still remember what those experiences were like?
Oh, they were brilliant. It was fantastic. It's the first swim that we did, the currents were so strong that we sort of they had to send Land Rovers out to fetch us. I don't know if you were in that swim, Doug.
No.
Okay, that was the first one we did. It was, but and the one you were with us when there was the mist and they wouldn't let us swim. And we didn't eat that.
We sat on Robben Island for 2 or 3 hours before they gave us the green light to swim. And obviously we were all sitting there just in our togs with no jackets or no food, no water, all waiting to swim. Pacing up and down. Yeah, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. But once we got going, it was okay, right?
What was the air temperature when you were waiting? Was it warm enough if you're just standing around in Speedos?
I wore a wetsuit, so I was okay.
Ah, okay. So you're one of the sensible swimmers.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to be one, but then Duncan's been over here for too long and he's corrupted me, and I'm going backwards. My intelligence is reducing, and I wear a wetsuit much less now. In fact, never. Yeah.
you know what? I want to enjoy the swim. So for me, I'd rather enjoy it than sort of go through that nonsense of not wearing it. That's the way I feel. I've done
Milton's had a long love affair with neoprene, Jim.
I've done 4 Robben Islands and I've done 1 double crossing.
So I'm assuming because you said they had to fetch you with Land Rovers, you swim from the island to the mainland, and because the currents were so strong, you would have been pushed very wide, right?
Yes, very much so.
So were you guys getting nervous while you were swimming?
You didn't realize it because the boats were just trying to guide you back to Blouberg, but the currents were too strong for that. So they just let us go. They just let us swim. And I don't remember that last part when you get to the rocks. You sort of just go. And that's that's an experience that you can't even explain that. It's sort of like once you're in the water, that current takes you. You don't even know where it's taking you. You just go with it. Yeah. But there's been some good swims. I mean, I've done a Robben Island under 2 hours.
Yep. Sort of, that's cruising, eh? That's an 8 kilometer swim, or I think 7.5 k's as a crow fly. So that's hauling ass. That's good swimming, right?
Yeah. So that's but that's when the conditions. That's when the conditions are good, and that's when the conditions are. It's like you can just go with it. It's just great. But every swim is different.
Yeah. So, Jim, I've done. There was a couple of swims that Milton and myself had agreed to swim together. Book a boat, reduce the cost of the boat, for example, and swim together. We trained together. We were in training probably a similar pace, but with Milty and his wetsuit, and when he gets into a race, he just wants to go, right? So I will, for no amount of money in the world, ever agree to swim again with Milton in a race, because it's always a massive cock up. You've got Milton going that way and me going this way, and I'm stopping and shouting, "Where's he going?" And it's been stressful.
Jim, he never shouted once. All he did was swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm with you on this one, Milton. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pain. There are a couple of painful swims. So, Milt, then, so what got you bitten on trying to do all of these continent-to-continent swims? You've done quite a few of them, which we'll get to the details now. But what got you going there?
There was a guy called John Craven from the Mad Swimmers, and he had done a swim from Gibraltar to Morocco, and we invited Duncan, which he never turned up. Oh, wait a second! You were supposed to come with us on that swim.
Yeah, I booked and paid for that swim, and I got sick a couple of weeks before, and I gave my slot to Terry, I think.
Terry Bantock, yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right. It took me 2 years to get that slot for that swim. I drove that guy mad, but eventually he gave it to us, and it was great.
Raphael was his name.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, definitely
but he
Raphael.
passed away. His daughter took over. But it was a fantastic swim, that one. I got the record for my age to do the fastest swim in that particular swim.
Yes,
So
I remember you guys hit the currents perfectly, right?
Yeah, it took us, I think, 3 hours 17 minutes or something like that. We'd done 20 odd Ks.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
amazing.
It was amazing
That's
swim there.
amazing. And there were 4 of you guys on that swim. Hey, it was
No,
you.
3.
It was
Just Marius.
3 of you. Okay, got you.
Marius and myself and Terry.
And yeah, so that was back in 2013, and I think that was about 19.5 Ks. Now that continent obviously is Europe to Africa, and that's part of the Ocean's 7 swim. So it's quite a popular swim right now, Artem. You can't get a booking there for anything.
Right.
After that, also with John Craven, you did a crazy adventure into Alaska.
Yes,
And
you joined us in that
one. Yeah. And tell us about that adventure. That was a super crazy adventure.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was we swam from big Diomedes to little Diomedes, and we went from where we stayed. We went onto a tin can boat, if you want to call it, and the guys they took us across there. It was the most amazing trip. That on the island they had the most sophisticated computer equipment. Remember that they taught the guys from schools and that type of thing. So obviously the American government had sponsored these guys. But the swim itself was fantastic. The currents were strong. Remember, it was it was exceptionally strong, the currents. And there was 3 of us that were swimming together. Duncan swam with another guy. What's his name? I don't know his name.
Sean's mate.
But
works with Sean.
Yeah, it was, and 3 of us swam together close to with each other all the time. And then by the time we got to the island, we must have been like a half a kilometer away from each other. The currents just pushed us all over the place. That was the most amazing swim. That
I can remember as we jumped off the boat to get started, you just got whisked away from the boat with the current. It was crazy.
Right.
Quite scary.
Yeah, you could actually see the ripples on the water, on the top of the water. It was amazing. That it was there was one guy that went naked with a speedo, and the rest of us wore wetsuits. That we started off that swim at 3.2 degrees.
Yeah,
that was a cold swim. That one.
That's about a 6K swim, isn't it?
It was 6Ks.
We followed the same route and the same sort of planning as what Lynn Cox did, probably 20 or 30 years prior to when we did it. Hey?
Yeah, she did it in the 80s.
Yeah.
But she did it she got the governments together. That was her whole thing. She got the president of America and the president of Russia to get together to talk.
Yes. Yes, that was a very political swim. Hey?
Yeah,
that was amazing. I think when we did it, there had been 3 people that had done it prior to us.
Right.
And then obviously the 6 of us went and did it and got the number right up to 9, which was cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Jim, if you ever want to look at a village or I don't know what to call it. I guess a village that literally has a family tree with no branches. That's the place you need to go and have a look. Right, there's maybe 100 people and everybody's related to everybody. And unfortunately, alcohol rules because there's nothing else for these guys to do half the year. Yeah, really. I mean, I don't even know how many aeroplanes we took to get there, Milt, but it was plane after plane after plane after plane.
The introduction of that island was as we sort of got in. They had just killed a walrus, remember, and all the dirhams were like hanging out. It was. That's what makes these trips so exciting because you don't know what you're going to get.
So I don't think anybody in New Zealand is not going to know what a dirham is. So there were all little worms and the intestines and everything hanging out of this walrus, right? And I can remember as well the guys were making us really nervous about when we entered the Russian waters. We didn't have the right paperwork and the right permissions, and they were going to shoot at us and they were going to send a boat out and like lock us up. And it just quite.
The guys that were with us, they had rifles, but they were so rusted. There's no way in a million years that they could have used it.
If we did see a walrus or something, you would have had to throw the rifle at it, right?
Exactly.
All right, cool. Okay, so then the year straight after that, you went and did a swim in the Red Sea, sorry.
The Red Sea, yeah. That was.
Tell us about that.
We went to
interesting.
Sharm el Sheikh. I went with two other friends of ours, and we went to. From Sharm, we went to Tirana. I was nervous about that swim because going to Tirana sort of makes you a little bit nervous because if they catch you, they just lock you up. But we did a double crossing. We went there and back. So going there, it was no problem. Coming back, the currents were also strong. I think there were times over there, Doug, that I put on that list. The difference in times. The Red Sea. It was 1 hour 40 going there, 1 hour 40, 2 hours 20 coming back.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
We fought the currents, and we were the first guys to ever do that swim. It was
it the swim where you use those big snorkel masks?
Yes.
As opposed to normal goggles?
No, we didn't use because we got those big goggles for the Dead Sea. It was for the Dead Sea.
Okay. And that was just because.
No, this
why
water
did
was
you
warm.
use those?
The water was warm. It was, and it had like tropical fish inside there. It was one of the most amazing swims. It was really incredible. But you actually you didn't realize how the currents are. It's like I say, you go one way. It was our fault because the captain of the boat said to us, "Wait until the currents change. We're changing like an hour, 2 hours." So we thought, you know what? We're in the water. Might as well try to swim back. So it took us a long time to get back. So that's the difference. 1 hour 40 going there, 2 hour 20 coming back is a big difference.
That's huge.
Yeah.
How did you arrange like boat charters and people to look after you for a swim like that?
We phoned with the hotel, and there was guys who do deep sea fishing, and they sort of helped us on that one. That was fine. That was one of the easiest swims to arrange. It wasn't difficult at all. Yeah, one of our better swims. And the water was crystal clear. You got no idea how warm this water, how clear this water was. I mean, you had tropical fish swimming around you. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Have you got that in Australia?
In the Red Sea. Yeah.
Have you been there?
No. I'd like to go there. Yeah.
We landed at Sharm el Sheikh, and it was fantastic. It was really a good swim. It was one of the better swims because there was no cold water. The conditions were fantastic. So you just go with that swim. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen too often that.
What was the
No,
water
not
temp?
if you're in Duncan's company, that's for sure. Yeah.
What do you
What
say?
was the water temperature?
It must have been about 29. It was
And
warm.
you had a wetsuit on.
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, damn,
I
that would
swear,
have been.
I know when I swim those lava pants. You know those 3/4 pants?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
call them cheat shorts here.
That's the one.
Yeah, they're great. I love them.
No,
They
me
are
too.
great.
I've got space in my cupboard. I'll never run out.
There was a stage where you would swim with those neoprene shorts in the pool as well, right?
Yeah, I still do.
Just keeps your hips up and gives you that same sort of correct posture that you're looking for, right?
Yeah. And you don't have to kick.
Yes, you
Yeah,
don't like
that
kicking.
kicking is
No.
that's extra work.
Absolutely.
So we used to. There used to be an Aussie guy that swam with us, Jim. His name was Phil Chappell, and we were all like a bunch of sort of guys that had started swimming later in life and a little less serious. And Phil came from a proper swimming background, and he was always like super C for serious, right, on the pool deck, and he'd always arrange the sessions and the squads. And the only thing when he left, he well, long story short is what he came to South Africa on a holiday and ended up staying, I don't know, 17 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And he landed up, him and his wife had kids, and they opted to go kid, yes, and they opted to go back to Aussie, and I think we got together and we got him a T-shirt that on the front of the T-shirt it just said 5 seconds, because that was all he used to say in the pool, right? Is we would do some reps and he'd go 5 seconds, and we need to be whipping it off again, which was pretty cool.
No, he was,
All right, cool. So I don't know anybody other than you that has gone to swim in Panama through to Colombia.
no, that's the first. So
That's
what I did is I
a
got,
world first.
yeah. So what I did is I found, because Jean had done it, says that he's done this from North America to South America. But where they did it in the Ganges or something like that. And I got hold of the South African Navy, one of the admirals in the Navy, and he said to me that he would find out from the guys in the UK where the correct position is between Panama and South America and North America. And it went through the whole channel, so that they actually found out exactly where I must swim from, and
Okay.
we did that swim. So that was approved by the WOSA actually approved that swim for me.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I got a certificate from them to say that it was. But that was a dangerous swim,
First.
Dunk. It was really dangerous. I got involved. I went for a walk the one day to basically it was they said it was just waterfalls. So I carried on walking to this waterfalls, and eventually I got there, and the guys said to me, so like there's just you just go around, you just carry on walking for a while and see what's around. And I don't know if you heard of the Darien Gap.
No.
Have you heard of the Darien Gap? The Darien Gap is where the guys go from Colombia to America to get to America. You know, that type of
It's
thing.
like illegal immigration type thing.
Yeah, and it's controlled by the cartel. The cartel controls that whole area. So half the people don't make it. The women get raped. The kids get killed. They just leave the bodies lying around. And I was walking with them, Doug. I was there with them. I've got pictures of these guys. These trying to get. They walk with a backpack and flip flops, trying to get through this jungle. 7 days walking through the jungle, controlled by the cartel, and I was there. So I broke away from them, and I thought to myself, I'm just going to go around and just see it. And I actually got lost in the jungle, and it's sort of like I was following a river, and all of a sudden the water stopped. There was no water, and it's sort of like and I thought to myself. Then you look around, and you can't see anything. This is the real jungle type of thing, and you don't know where north, south, west, or east is. And then I thought to myself, just don't panic, just take it easy, just think about it where you are. And I backtracked to where the water was, and I followed the water back. I was in the jungle for about 4 hours, sort of lost in the jungle. It was actually quite scary to sort of. That's
not
when
a great
we had the
situation
coast.
to be in, eh?
Yeah, we had the Coast Guards supporting us on that swim. I had a master diver sort of in and out the water on that swim, but that was one of the hardest swims I've ever done. It was only about 5 kilometers, but the currents were exceptionally hard. I'll send you some pictures of that one, but that was
Please
the
do.
hardest swim I've ever done.
So that would have been from North America to South America, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's that's the legal one. That's the only one that you can do now. So I've actually set a precedent now that if you want to swim from North to South America, that's where you swim.
Wow, that's pretty cool, hey? So in terms
Yeah.
of having Wowza ratify that swim, what did you have to give them in terms of proof, I guess?
It was coordinates. It was pictures. It was videos. It was. I got the Coast Guards to actually sign a letter from the South African Army, the South African Navy, that the admiral had sent me to actually prove that I'd done that swim, where I'd swum it. So
And nobody's done it since then, right? That was pretty recent, right? That was last year.
year, yeah,
A year ago.
yeah.
Would you put
So that
yourself into
was.
that risk again?
I didn't want to take anybody with me because I knew it was dangerous. They told me that the area was so dangerous that I went to that I didn't want to take anybody with me. But now that I know where to go to and what to do, I would do it again. It's no, but that was the most exciting swim I've ever done because you got no idea what's going to happen. You
So
take it from like a yeah.
so when you arrived in the country, like how far was your accommodation away from the airport? Was it pretty close?
The airport, there's no cars in that area. It's a place called Capiano. There are
Yep.
no cars. It's only like motorbikes and things like that. So you land and you literally walk to your hotel.
Okay.
The master diver had a office right opposite the hotel, so I knew where he was all the time. So we just waited for good conditions to go, but the conditions
Okay, so
never.
he was your sort of he was the swim director per se, right? He called
Yeah,
the weather and looked after your safety, right? And
right.
he's based there, you say?
He's based there. Yeah,
Okay.
so he's based
Um,
in. Sorry.
nope. I was just going to say, what type of vessel did they arrange to look after you? Again, it's you looking back
It's one of the.
say again.
It's one of those long boats. You know those long wooden boats. That's
Oh,
that
so
type of boat that
with an
it
engine
had,
on it,
it
obviously.
had one engine.
Okay,
They
so it
want to
wasn't like
know.
a beautiful, brand new, seaworthy
It,
vessel looking after you either, right? It
Not
was
a chance, no. No, it's
just
like
the
wooden
one
boats,
vessel.
one vessel. And then sort of like the Coast Guards were with us, but they were at a distance. They were just watching us. So they just to verify that we did swim. Remember, we were crossing border to border. So the Coast Guards have got to verify what you're doing. So we got them to approve it first before we actually swam. So
And
to actually start that type of swim is so difficult to arrange. It's because
yeah,
there's so many variables, there's so many people involved. Um,
how long did it take to organize?
Took me about also about 1.5 years.
Wow.
You got to find. It's the same as Papua New Guinea. You got to find one person that can take you. And that's the problem. That's why I've got such a problem with Papua New Guinea. I just can't find anybody to. I've written to the lifesaving in Papua New Guinea, the swimming fraternity in Papua New Guinea. Nobody's come back to me. Your guy said that it's too far away for him to handle.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tricky swim, right? And there's a little bit of sort of political issues happening there at the moment as well, right? Which is not going to make it any easier.
Yeah. If the worst comes to worst, I'll fly out there and then I'll look for somebody when I'm there to do it. That's the worst that can happen.
Okay, Jim. So if you've got any context, that's the next one. So what does that swim entail?
Jeff Carter used to live there in Papua New Guinea. Yeah, no, but it was quite a long time ago. But we should rope him into the conversation. He did a couple of years of work on Papua New Guinea, but that was probably 20 or 30 years ago. Yeah, so it might not be useful.
But he's a swimmer, so he might have the right sort of points of contact, right?
Yeah. Rope him into
and Jeff's retired. It might be worth Jeff going over and having a holiday and taking you across himself. You never know.
Yeah. What a pleasure. We love it. That's the last of my series. That's the last of this particular series.
So Milton, you're not planning on swimming from New Zealand to Australia then?
No, Duncan's too close.
That's a proper swim there. It's only like 5,000 kilometers, eh?
3,000. Let's not overdo it.
Oh, 3,000. Okay. But you can swim from the northern island to the southern island of New Zealand. Those are, in some people's eyes, two different continents. You go overseas on a holiday. You go to Christchurch from Auckland. You had your name down for a Cook Strait at one stage, I think, as well, right?
Yeah, we were looking at doing that.
Yeah, also very popular and very small windows. Quite hard to get onto that list as well, right? But I
thought you were trying to do something like that, Dan?
Yeah, so we actually on this podcast we've interviewed Philip Rush, who's Philip Rush is the old legend from back in the 80s and 90s that broke all the records. Also did a triple English Channel swim. But Phil is he owns the business, the charter that looks after you in the Cook Strait.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's definitely some options to try and get onto a list, but again, it's expensive, and there's only so many swims that you can do. But I would love to do that. That's an amazing swim, but that's a hard swim because again, it's cold water, it's very rough water, and the currents are really hard. I think he ranks that up, as probably maybe the toughest or the second toughest sort of the Ocean 7.
Wow.
Compared to like an English Channel or something like that. An English Channel is really quite sort of in inverted commas easy compared to the Cook Strait, so.
Right.
Yeah, but I think Duncan's just a bit soft. I mean, one of the other people we interviewed swam the Cook Strait when she was 12 years old. So if a 12-year-old girl can do it, I'm sure that Duncan can do it if he just actually got down to the beach and actually did some swims in the morning.
Yeah.
And why would he do that?
Oh, I've got no clue. If I knew that, then...
I'm trying to...
The other swim that it was really a good swim was the Bosphorus. That was...
in terms of
also real good.
What was special about that one?
It was just a nice swim, that one. It was just a sort of, you got into the jumped off a boat and you sort of just swam across from one continent to the other continent. It was just a real good swim, that one. It was only a 6-kilometer swim, but Marius did it and Jean did it. The three of us did that one.
Yeah, that's very cool. That sounds like.
But we lost Marius on that swim. You know that. So we were all going to swim together. We were just going to take an easy swim, that type of thing. Then everybody wore yellow caps, and we got into the water. Jean and I stayed together. All of a sudden, Marius just deviated somewhere. Couldn't find him. Can you imagine how bad the swim was? We were swimming backstroke and sort of looking for him. I came third in my age group.
Tell me about the Dead Sea swim.
I didn't do the Dead Sea one. There was a lot of politics on that one. So
Okay, I remember you were going to do it, right?
yeah, I was.
Okay, because that would be ridiculous trying to swim in that water. Hey.
No, I'm negotiating at the moment. Obviously, the times is not right at the moment, but I am negotiating to do that swim. The next time they do it, I'll be there.
Okay.
So I have spoken to the guys already.
How do you train for something like that? Because is it just it's really just super buoyant and trying to keep all the salt out of your nose and eyes, I would imagine, eh?
You wear that big mask, that full face mask,
like a snorkeling mask.
Yeah, and you got it's a full face mask, and you got every sort of like maybe kilometer or so, half a kilometer, you actually sort of they wash it for you. Because the salt gets in your eyes, you just can't carry on.
Okay, that's crazy, man. So,
I will do
Milton, what is your average sort of weekly training schedule look like at the moment?
I've got a sports scientist now. So what I do, I train on land for twice a week. I train 4 days a week in the pool, and one day I've got to take off the one day. So the training, when we've got a session to do, like a goal, the sessions are hard. When there's no goal, obviously we just do maybe 3 kilometers, 3.5 kilometers, that type of thing. So, but it's when we got it. But I must tell you that training, the land training, has helped me 100%. There's no question about it. You know, we all believe that sort of, if you're a swimmer, you swim. Yep. It's not true, hey. The land training. I go to the sports science I go to is a lecturer at UJ, and I've been with him for about 5 years now, and it's been the best thing I've ever done.
And when you say land training, we're talking gym work and running, and, you know, all of the above, or gym specifically?
Yeah, no, it's gym. It's all of the above, but obviously weights as well. But everything's geared to swimming, so it's not. He knows what the strokes are, what we need to do, what muscle to develop, and things like that. It's for me, it's been a game changer completely.
Okay, and diet wise, Milt, do you follow like a particular diet to keep you lean and mean, or how does that side of things look?
I don't eat meat anymore. I have chicken, vegetables, you know, that type of thing. But I have a proper meal at work now. Before it was just a sandwich or, you know, that type of thing, toasted something. But now it's a proper meal at work during the day. It's fruit, that type of thing. So it's much better now.
Okay.
When I came back from Everest, sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm assuming you don't prepare any of that. It's all prepared for you, right?
Need I say more?
Yeah, I know you well enough, Milt. That's awesome. I look up to you. When you came back from Everest?
Doug, when I came back from Everest, I lost about 5 kgs, and that was hectic. It was really sort of, but that was I swam in a lake called Gokia. Half of it was ice, and half of it was liquid. But that was the most incredible experience I've ever had.
When did you do that?
That's now recently, about 3 months ago. Okay. I went to base camp. I went to base camp at Everest, and then I broke away with myself and a porter, a guide and a porter, and we went to a lake called Gokia, and we swam over there. That was crazy, incredible. Man. It was the most.
Wow. Yeah, that is amazing.
I'm assuming. I mean, right. You would have been at what type of altitude? Like, I don't know, 5,000-6,000.
It was 5,000. No, it was 5,400 and something.
Feet or meters?
And did you feel the altitude?
Yep. Your adrenaline is just so, what they did is there's the main lake where everybody is like right by where the tea houses are and that type of thing. Three kids were drowned last year, so it's become a ritual lake, a religious lake now. And they wouldn't allow us to swim in that lake, so we had to go to Gokia 1. And they made a fire for me after the swim. Duncan would have burnt down Table Mountain. You got no idea.
The fire was to warm you up again?
Yeah. They bought duvets and they bought tea and ginger and that type of thing. It was amazing. I want to tell you about that experience.
Amazing experience.
No, the most amazing part was is that after the swim, they just said to me, relax. They put down this duvet and there's like thorn bushes and they put this duvet over everything. They just said, lie there. And I just lay there and I had the tea and whatever it was and this fire. And I just relaxed. And it was I'm not a religious person as such, but it was the most religious experience I've had in my life because it was like, there's no other place on earth I'd rather be than be there at that moment. It was the most unbelievable experience. I couldn't even explain it to anybody because it sounds stupid. But to me, it was the most unbelievable experience that I ever had. The feeling of just being to base camp, swimming in Gokia, and just lying down there and just chilling. And the guys just said to me, just relax, just don't do anything, just relax. It was unbelievable that. It's sort of just sometimes you just can't explain something where you feel or what you feel at that time.
That's addictive, right? That's the type of thing you're going to go out and look for again. I would imagine you'd be chasing down the next adventure to try and get that same feeling again, right?
I don't think you can ever get it back. It was just something that we've done some phenomenal swims, and it's always been you've never had that relaxed feeling afterwards, or sort of like that internal feeling. It's just was incredible. I don't think I'd ever feel that again ever.
Why do you think? Do you think it was because you were cold and reheating, or because of the altitude, or was it just because it was the stars all aligned and it was just this like amazing experience for you? Because you swam alone, right?
I swam alone, yeah. There were three of us. It was my the porter, with the Sherpa, yes. and a guide. That was it. So, and they didn't speak a word of English. So you must understand how the conversation went.
Yeah.
But it was an experience. It was an experience. You can't explain something like this, Doug. It was something like so religious in its own way that it was unbelievable. And you when you tell people about it, that nobody would ever understand. They would never understand what that feeling was.
Yeah, I think you're lucky to have achieved that. Eh?
Sorry?
I think you're lucky to have experienced that. It sounds wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was really sort of, I think it was just that the thought of sort of experiencing, I mean, if you would have seen that water, half of it was ice, half of it was liquid, and you said, and I must explain to you, when you actually, because nobody swims there, obviously, so as you walk in, it's like you think that the water was solid, or the ground was solid, and as you put your foot down, you sank, and you sank up to over your knees, with your thighs, and you actually just sank in this mud, and that was really scary because you think it's quicksand, so you don't know what it is. But obviously, they had a rope around my waist, so they could have pulled me out. But to actually get out of that, you actually couldn't lift your body up, so you actually started swimming as to get out of that mud. That set your heart racing, I can tell you, because you don't know what it's like, you don't know what the water's like, you got no idea. Nobody's ever swum in that area before. So
it must have been a bit concerning about how you actually get out afterwards. You got this really soft mud to get out of and get back onto dry land. Hey,
what the guys did, they pulled me in.
oh yeah,
So I swam, and then when it was when I had finished, the guys pulled me in with a rope. So that was much easier.
yeah.
But
that's crazy, Milt.
But those experiences that I mean, I would even never thought about telling you guys that, because it was something that you don't even remember, because it's there, it's real. It's something that you just do. You just you can't back off, because you've gone so far, and there's no way you're going to back off on that swim. It's just
so
you just have to
I
do
imagine that would be almost as nice as some of the swim in Lake back in the day, right?
So you broke up, Doug?
That would have been almost as pleasant as some of the swims we did across Germiston Lake back in the day.
there you got cut with bottles, broken bottles.
Shit, Milt, that's an experience, man. I didn't know that you have done that. That's an amazing experience. So after you, I guess, had your out of body experience, and you, I guess, got up and put some dry clothes on, how far was the hike back to base camp?
It was maybe 2 kilometers. Wasn't far.
Okay, so not you weren't like at risk of not making it back before the sun came down or anything crazy like that.
No. But to get to that lake, you went through a area that, well, the day before, it was like it was 11 hours hike, but you went through snow and sleet and everything like that, and that was hectic, that hike. But the story is that we were about 20 minutes away from the tea house, and the guide said to me, if we don't make it back within 20 minutes, we don't know where we are, because it's pitch black, you can't see anything. So what they did is that my porter, he was obviously carrying my bags. He gave my bags to the guide, and he put me, these the Sherpas, they put those straps on their head, and they got that. That's how they carry the bags. So he put the same type environment, but he made a sling for me, put me on his back, and piggybacked me down the mountain to the tea house. Promise you, for 20 minutes.
Crazy.
He ran down that mountain. He put on. They didn't have any. What's those things called? They put in their shoes. Put those on, and he ran down the mountain with me on his back. Otherwise, we wouldn't have made it to the tea house.
Was he a big guy?
Small little petite guy. You got no idea, but strong. Yes. Let me tell you what I had in my backpack. I carried a backpack all the time. I had a toilet roll in my backpack. That's what I had in my backpack. He had the best. He had everything else. Whatever I had, he had.
Why doesn't
and sometimes I gave my backpack, it got too heavy.
What an experience. What's next?
Next is Papu.
Okay.
That's my next one.
You're on a mission about that. Yeah? Okay.
You know what? It can take me 2 years to arrange a swim. You know that? Yeah. You got to find one person somewhere in the world that's willing to help you. And if you can't, it's you actually got to go there. And I even wrote a letter to the police in Papua New Guinea. I said, would they sort of? They never came back to me either. So
that's not good.
And it's not often that people ignore me, though.
Well, as I know, there's an ex-wife and a couple of girlfriends that I'm aware of that ignore you quite a lot.
Yeah, but I think we've got to find people who've got contacts in Papua New Guinea, because it might just have to be, who. Yeah, it's getting a contact or how to contact them or something like that. So I think we'll have to just ask around and see if anybody knows how to make this work. Yeah.
Would you guys join me in a swim like that?
I would.
Yeah.
I certainly would. Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
You know me,
Sounds,
Milt. As long as I don't have to swim with you, next to you, because we'll fight the whole way. I'll swim on the other side of the boat, and we should be okay, right?
okay, so what you're saying is
But
we'll
maybe
swim
if
between the two of you.
I wouldn't recommend it. Duncan doesn't swim straight, I can tell you.
Oh, no, he hasn't got
Jim
better
knows.
since he left.
Jim knows. Hey, so I guess if there's anybody listening to this podcast that has got some ideas or some contacts in Papua New Guinea, Jim, what's the best route to drop a note on, I guess, our Instagram account?
Or get hold of us
send us an
directly or
email
on the
to-
Instagram account would be great. Yep.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Milton do his last swim, man.
Cool.
Milt, dude, you are such a legend. And when I'm big, I definitely want to be like you. You just to sidetrack slightly, right? If you come to New Zealand for a visit, you would fit in here so nicely. Hey, there is an amazing swimming community in New Zealand. If I compare it to South Africa, maybe particularly in Johannesburg, right, it's quite tough. But there's such a big community of open water swimmers here. You can literally sort of fall out your car at any beach and you can walk down to the beach with your togs and your goggles and you'll find a couple of cool guys to swim with. So maybe, as part of your training or as part of your prep for Papua New Guinea, come and swim with us and let's see what we can organize, man.
I'd love to, really love to do that. It'd be great that. It's what have you got in line, Dunk? What have you got in line to do?
So we've just done, both Jim and myself have just competed in ice swimming champs, New Zealand ice swimming champs, which was pretty cool.
Congratulations! I heard that was brilliant, eh?
Yeah, I can feel my fingers again now, which is pretty cool. I can type properly now without damaging things. And then remember we did that 24-hour swim at Feats University many years ago. I can't remember when it was. But I'm facilitating another one of those here on the 25th of October. So that will be the first official 24-hour pool swim in New Zealand. We've asked around to see if there's anybody else that has done it, and there's been nothing official. So this will be the first official one. And then, I've just got a couple of sort of more modest swims. There's a swim that I'm going to do with Shazil, who's the little guy that I support swim with. We'll swim around Rangitoto Island, which is a 20-kilometer swim. We're aiming to do that in either December.
So are you doing long distances now? Is that your thing now?
Yeah. So obviously, yeah. So the cold is I've sort of planned to try and do a mile every year, just to keep me honest. I think you've got to take yourself out of your comfort zone and put yourself into a place that's a little scary and a little uncomfortable. And for me, that's ice swimming. And then I've got my technique is so bad, Milton, and my I'm not a fast swimmer, so to go and do the races and try and compete to speed just becomes more stressful than enjoyable. So my happy space is swimming long, where as you've put it now, you're in the middle of nature, you're looking at some amazing sort of sights that you would never ever see on an ordinary day, and really just pushing your body, I guess, a little bit further than you would normally. But long is my happy space. Yeah.
That's great. We've done 2 long swims together. We did Sterkfontein and Katsi, wasn't it? Did you do Katsi?
Yes. Sterkfontein Dam was a 16. Oh no, actually yes, I did do Katsi. Now that you remember it, we drove through super early in the morning, and we slept in the back of the van before the swim, and that was the swim there was a big group of you guys all on the very right-hand side of the dam, and I went all the way to the left-hand side by myself. because I thought it would be a better route, but it wasn't. Yes, I did both of those swims with you, Milt. Sterkfontein
Which is
Dam
the one
is...
which is the one that came out and I fetched you?
Katsi.
Was it Ketsu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
There's been some amazing swims, right? Yeah, we're going to do a couple more, Milt. But
I'd love to.
But we're going to need to do them in New Zealand. We look forward to following your adventures. We're going to do our best to try and help you out with Papua New Guinea and see if we can get you across there. And
I'd love to.
yeah,
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do Papua, even if I've got to go myself and sort of just arrive there.
Okay, so we don't want you to be lost in the jungle again with drug dealers and things. So let's see if we can get you a little bit more semi-organized before we send you across there, right?
Yeah.
We've got some listeners that will be able to help.
There's more chance of you helping me than Duncan.
Come on, Jim, help him out.
Yeah. No, Milton, he hasn't changed at all. He's got worse. In fact, I'm convinced of it.
Yeah.
That's hard to believe. I can't believe it can get any worse than he was.
One of his first swims he did with me, I thought, oh geez, who's this new South African guy? He's going to be bloody hard work. Yeah, I wonder whether we need to have him around. And he just wouldn't leave. It's like sticky fly paper.
Just kept coming back.
Yeah.
Tenacity goes a long way.
But it's great. When you get to know him and you understand him, he's a great guy.
I look forward to that.
All
right. On that note, Milt, I think you need to go and stop divulging useless information here to our listeners. Thank you for your time. It's been awesome for the chat. And look forward to following you on your future adventures.
What a pleasure. Guys, thank you very much for everything. I really appreciate your help.
Great. Okay. Great meeting you, Milton. Cheers, mate.
Hi, my name is Caitlin O'Reilly. I'm the youngest person to have completed the Ocean 7 Challenge. If this really cool podcast has helped you learn something new, maybe it's introduced you to new swimmers, made you smile, then please take the opportunity to subscribe to Duncan and Jim's channel. I'm sure they would absolutely appreciate all your support. Cheers.
Thanks, Caitlin. Well, as always, you can give us feedback on our Instagram account @cleverdix or send us an email cleverdixnz@gmail.com. We'd really appreciate hearing from you. And cheers. We'll speak to you again soon.